G'day guys, so here in the backyard I'm going to show you a bit about this Alaskan mill, and that's basically there. I've got a new one with a longer rail to do a bigger log. This will cut up to a 700mm log, and the one I had before was only a little short one. So I've got a 34-inch bar on the 525. Alright, that's it there. And what I want to do is mill this log. I'm going to cut some 100mm slabs. One of them I'm going to use for the bathroom in there I've just made. And I can do it with this Alaskan mill. So, I mean, that's all it is. It's just a frame. They're about 300 bucks. We're going to sell them. We'll sell two sizes, and they're a great bit of gear. So there's a few ways to do it. I'll show you a couple of things about it. And now you basically need something to run the chainsaw along. So this Alaskan mill is going to run along the rail like that. Chainsaw goes in there. And you need something to hold that, you know, the frame. One of the best things to do is use a ladder, and this is an extension ladder. So I've basically just pulled apart an extension ladder. It's a perfect frame to run that across. But you can use other things. You can make it up yourself out of a bit of tube. But yeah, a ladder is great. There's two ways you can fix this to a log. Okay. One way is on the end here. You can end screw in. And now if you cut a log that's 3,500 long, which is like this log here, okay, so you can see that log there, you got a tree might be 30, 40 foot long, right? I've cut that up into 3,500 pieces because this ladder is exactly 3,500 long, and that's a fair length. Well, you don't really need anything longer than that. So if you cut it exactly 3,500, which is what I've done, then you can end screw in here onto your log, okay? That's not a bad way of doing it. But if you've got a log that's shorter, which this one is, you can't do that, okay? Now this log is 2 meters long. It's a nice big thick log. I want a slab 550mm for the bathroom. So what I've done is I've just put some Tech screws straight down on top of this here. I've got a wedge here, okay, just to level it up a little bit. So I've just screwed straight down there. Now that's a good way of doing it, as long as you're cutting a slab thick enough that you're not going to hit the end of those screws. If you hit those screws, your day is going to be totally stuffed. You'd throw your chain away. So I'm cutting down about here, and I'm going to miss those screws. But that's a very easy way of doing it. Just screw straight on top, and it's nice and easy. So the other thing you want to do is get your log up off the ground. With a small log, you can do that with a crowbar. With a big log here, I've just used a little Kubota, which I bought recently. It's a great little bit of gear, very handy. So I've been able to pull this up with a rope. Prop underneath there, you've got to get it so it's not going to move. So I've got it propped up there, wedged to both sides. Nice stable. The other thing I've done, right, as you can see, is I've cut the top of that. Now, you can't really do this method if you've got a round log, okay? I can't put that ladder on here. So what I've done, I've freehand cut a slab off there. So I've just marked it with a string line and a level. Okay, I've got a level here. Marked the string line, I've just freehand cut that just to form that nice, roughly a nice top base that I can work from. And then you can put your ladder on top, okay? So yeah, I think that's the basics. Get your log up a little bit high if you can, get it nice and stable, get your top, I'm not sure what they call them, a flitch or something, get that cut off. You know, we do that this way, and then we can roll it over, and then we can screw our ladder to the logs. Very easy. You know, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about how to do this, and none of them really, you know, I had to watch a lot of videos to really figure out how to do it, but that's the basics really. So what we'll do, we'll get this on here. All right, and you can see the saw is clamped at this section here and also at the front. So that's all that holds it. So a couple of little tips. We're going to slide that through there. And we've got to get this bar right in the middle of that. Okay, get him sitting right up against the rakers, and then we can just do this here up. Now that's, for these Alaskan mills you need 11 and a 13. Very important you've got those little socket. Okay, and another tip is to check these fittings after every every run, because there's a lot of pressure on this saw and they do rattle loose. So check all your fittings, you know, after each, or every now and then, you know. On the end here, I like to get that one fairly tight, but this one here, right, I don't want to do too tight because that can distort the end of your chain. Well, it can distort the bar, right, and then that will distort your chain. So I'd like to do this not too tight, and then just make sure your chain's running, okay? Very important that that's not distorted and it's nice running free. Okay, the other thing we want to do is, it's very hot here today. Alright, the other thing we want to do is get some oil. Okay, get some oil on this bar and also on the rails, right? So I'm going to just paint some oil on the, now this is only bar oil, but that's fine, oil's oil. You could use something else, but I find a little bit of oil on that is important. Right, we want that to slide, otherwise aluminium on aluminium is just going to get very sticky, you know. And then we're going to get some oil, okay, on this bar. Very good job. Okay, a bit of oil there, a bit of oil there. So just run that around. Okay, so I've got a bit extra oil in there. And I better chuck some safety boots on. Get nice and safe. The other thing what I've done too with this ladder, I've put a little wedge here, yeah, to get that nice and straight. So I've sided that both sides, nice and straight, and that's ready to go. So that should, now once you get going, all right, the trick then is to have your bar on a little bit of a forward angle, all right, because it's very hard to cut this. Now, see these shavings here? Now this is, I cut the end of the log here before, so I chopped the end off there. That's your normal, when you're cutting firewood, that's what you get. You get, you know, nice big chips, nice and sharp chain. You can see that I've used a little steel electric. And this is what I use when I cut that slab off. So with the grain, you can see beautiful big long shavings. But what you're going to get here on the third dimension, you're going to get sawdust. So it's the hardest way to cut. Cross-cut's pretty easy. With the grain's even easier, but across the grain this way, or into the grain, you know, you're going to get powder. That's full-on sawdust. So your chain has to be super sharp, 100% super sharp, like brand new chain. The ideal thing's a brand new chain. I have sharpened it just now. And you want to run it a little bit of an angle. If you're too flat against the log, it's a lot harder to cut. So the more angle we got, the more we're going to be ripping. So it's going to make it a little bit easier if we have a leading edge like that. So we want to have it like this, a little bit of an angle. The other thing we want to, once you get going, you don't want to stop. Every time you stop, then you're going to leave a mark in the timber, and it's going to move a little bit, and you're left with the ridge. You might lose 2 or 3 mils out of your log. That, you know, we're allowing for that, you complain that, but you wanted one nice big hit. And that's pretty much it. Let's give it a go. You can see, I mean, that's a 585, one of the most powerful huskies you can buy, and that's struggling a bit. Now look at what's coming out of it. You know, there's powder really, like I said. It's very hard to cut that. Plus this is a bit sappy as well. So that's hard work for that saw. Now, also ended up a little blower. But and look at that. So I'm going to come down and do a second cut on that tomorrow morning. I'll do 100 mil. All right, and then that's going to form, you know, I can just hand plane that. And that's going to be literally the bench top for the bathroom. The basin's going to go here. I wanted something around 550, and I've got that. Now I'm going to leave this bark on, so I'll chip a bit of that bark off. So I've still got the nice brown edge. I run a straight edge up here and I'll cut the back of that off. But yeah, you can do that, no problems. And that's just for this Alaskan mill. It's a ripper bit of gear. It's not expensive. They're going to be on the website. And that's how you do it.